It may seem small to some people that I'm challenging myself by literally getting in the car and driving to a nearby forest on my own to go for a walk. Like, for some people that might seem so small and almost laughable. Things I've experienced in the last, honestly my whole lifetime, but particularly 2021, were horrendously traumatic to the point where I could not I suppressed these experiences until I basically couldn't take it anymore, and in my head, like, it reached this breaking point where there was just traumatic thing, event to the point where I could not, like, contain it anymore. And that's why I experience a lot of anxiety to the point where I struggle to leave the house. My symptom often manifests as, like, the most extreme nausea. Like, it's actually debilitating, and when, I don't know if everyone's experienced nausea at some point in their life, and you know how, like, all-consuming and uncomfortable it is. And I never know if I'm going to throw up or if I'm not, and so I tend to avoid a lot of situations because even at home, I often feel quite nauseous and anxious and really tense. I've done a lot of work on my nervous system and how to regulate it and how to release trauma in a way that's more gentle rather than like these big somatic practices that a lot of people talk about, like really powerful breath work or like ayahuasca or like screaming. I mean, I have been doing screaming in forests and screaming in the house in general, but like it's quite energetic and powerful, and it can really put you back in that stress mode. And so I've been learning ways on how to like regulate my anxiety and calm myself down a lot with a lot of the way I talk to myself, and also the way I hold my body, the way I move my body, the way I breathe. And just like, I've been doing a lot of belly breathing. So if you're anxious, you're going to be breathing from your chest. You're going to be like quite shallow breathing. And that is a stress response. And this is indication that you're feeling a bit stressed in the sympathetic nervous system mode. Deep and slow. And I've been practicing that like multiple times a day for the last few months, and it's really helped. But the biggest thing, I don't want to say this because it's so cringy, but it's mindset. It's like knowing that I have all the healing power within me to be able to move through this, to be able to heal in a way that is gentle to my body when it's in this sensitive time. And so often I will feel a lot of anger. I will feel so angry for like no reason. And sometimes I'll feel so scared and panicked, and it's all like these responses from my body just trying to let me know that I feel unsafe. So that's why something as simple as going for a walk in the woods can be so overwhelming for my nervous system, because it's this big open space where I'm unfamiliar with it, and it's a new place, not necessarily a new place, but it's not like contained in your home with all your comforts. Like, I struggle with health anxiety, so I always feel like I'm going to like throw up, and I'm scared of throwing up, and so I always like to know I have a toilet nearby. It's irrational, and I'm working through it. So something as simple as going for a walk can be a big achievement, and it's really hard for my brain to kind of comprehend that, because I have achieved quite a lot in my short period of time on this earth so far. And I even went solo traveling earlier in 2022 to Croatia while I was in this really traumatized state. And I don't know how I did it. I barely was able to get through it. Like, I struggled so much, and honestly I think it did more harm than good, because the whole time I was like in panic mode, I was in stress mode, I was like, I need to just get out of here, and I couldn't regulate my own nervous system. And that's the thing, like a lot of people with anxiety, or people who are on the outside, will say, you just need to go out and do it. And like, that's a really good kind of advice for some, but if you've experienced a lot of trauma, or if you've experienced like severe anxiety and you cannot bring yourself to like that sense of calm, it can be way more damaging than it is helpful. So like, I could say, yes, I went out there and I kind of faced my fears by going to Croatia on my own, but at the same time, like, it was kind of dangerous, because when you're experiencing a lot of anxiety and stress, your whole prefrontal cortex kind of goes to sleep. This is the brain of like logical and reason, and you're just in fight or flight mode, and you can't really think clearly. And so when you're in that state and you're in a foreign country like I was, you can't really make rational decisions. I mean, you can, but like it's really hard to like see the wood for the trees, and you can really kind of get yourself into danger there. And also, you don't want to end up re-traumatizing yourself and just making your nervous system even more jacked, because it doesn't do you any good. Even if kind of people say like exposure therapy, it's like the best thing you can do is just go out and live your life, but at the same time you have to consider like your own body and your own mind and your own nervous system and how much you can handle safely without re-traumatizing yourself or making yourself into an even worse state. But yeah, there are ways to kind of expose yourself to things that make you uncomfortable in a way that is supportive and safe, that isn't going to completely re-traumatize you and derail your whole like day, week, month, year, like some experiences can if you push yourself way too far, because there is such a thing as pushing yourself too far. I used to not think that. I used to think like whatever, just go and do whatever the heck you want to do, and regardless of the consequences you're gonna live probably. I don't even know, I was just kind of really naive about this. But like today is a good example. I'm feeling right now in my body, I'm feeling pretty anxious. I'm feeling quite, I can feel my throat is kind of tense, my chest is kind of tight, I'm feeling quite nauseous. But I'm not completely spiraling. Like I'm able to kind of ground myself and like take a deep breath and know that I'm okay, and if something bad is going to happen, like I'm still going to be okay. I can support myself through this, and just knowing that I have that support no matter what within myself is like, it's so key. And I think that's why I struggled a lot with going anywhere, is because I don't feel safe anywhere. A lot of trauma is the fact you just don't feel safe anywhere, and it's debilitating, and it's something that you can't really escape from because it's always there. Like you constantly feel unsafe, even in your own house, in your own bed. A lot of people do tend to have safe spaces where they do feel safe, but I haven't experienced that. It's a kind of a constant fight or flight mode, which by the way is very unhealthy. It's obviously very unhealthy. It causes so much disease. Stress is like the #1 cause for different diseases, and I've become, I don't want to say chronically ill, because that is a thing I don't want to identify with, especially in 2023 this year. I refuse to identify with illnesses. I refuse to label myself as someone with anxiety, someone with PTSD, someone who feels nauseous all the time. Dog, because it perpetuates this story in my head. It's like constantly. That's my dog now, who's joining in. It basically exacerbates it for me. Like as soon as I was kind of diagnosed with PTSD, it's like everything spiraled way more out of control. Like I started researching like crazy about PTSD and anxiety and how it affects the body and how it can lead to way more other serious diseases, because your immune system's lowered, and it can just like impair a lot of your functioning. And yeah, it definitely kept me stuck for a while, and I still feel kind of stuck. But I know I'm not stuck, and it's like you have to, I don't want to say fight your own mind, but you have to like acknowledge it, understand where it's coming from, because it's all your body is just trying to keep yourself safe. That is what anxiety is, and what anxiety, the symptoms are that they're doing is they're trying to protect you from a perceived danger. Whether it's danger or not, your brain thinks it is, your body thinks it is. And it's just kind of trying to keep yourself safe. So when I'm feeling really anxious, like really like hypervigilant, nauseous, panicky, like I have to remember like not to fight this. I have to accept that like, okay, this is my body trying to keep me safe. Thank you for trying to keep me safe, but you no longer serve me. The emotions and the symptoms no longer serve me, and kind of move through it and feel it, because you have to feel it to heal it. Like that phrase is very true. I'm really rambling now. Like you have to be on your own side and just understand from a place of compassion, like your body and your mind are doing its best to protect you, from danger, because we're in the same body as we were 100,000 years ago. We're still in the same biological responses, as if there was a physical threat, like an animal trying to chase you, or you being ostracized from like a group, your tribe. It's a danger, and your body perceives it as that, and it tries to tell you by giving you warning signs. So yeah, the biggest thing for me has been like this anxiety, this nausea, this PTSD stuff, insomnia, has brought up a lot of symptoms that have actually kind of it's damaged my body in multiple ways. But I know I can heal from it. Like, I know I can heal from it, and I don't identify as someone with a chronic illness, or I don't identify with someone with chronic anxiety, because that is transient. This is not permanent, and I'm not going to feel like this forever. And I'm doing my best to like really be kind to myself and know that I'm freaking like worthy of healing and worthy of like having a good life, because for a long time, and I still feel like that on some level, that I just don't deserve like anything. Like, I just don't deserve it, and that, like, so unworthy, and it's just not true. The voice in my head that's come from like my past experiences, what maybe other people have told me, yeah, it's just not true. And I have to really understand and believe that I am worthy of healing, and I am worthy of like giving myself the best care that I can through diet, through sleep, through using practices to calm my nervous system, by going for daily walks. Like, all these things, like, they compound. And I used to think, oh my gosh, like, what is one walk going to do? But like, the thing is, the little things compound to make the grander picture. When I really did not want to go out for this walk today. Before I came out, I was in full meltdown mode, and like, my body was just screaming at me, like, do not go, like, it's unsafe, like, seriously, don't go. And it's just like making me so, I don't know, just like everything hitting me at once. But it's like my own body's responses to try and keep myself safe. But I have to move through that, and I have to be like, okay, I see you, I understand why you're here, and I understand like why you're trying to keep me safe, but like, it's okay, and I can do this, and just move through it calmly. Also, I ended up getting really angry, because like anxiety comes up as anger, so I had to like shake my body and just like scream. But like, sometimes, a lot of the time I don't do that. A lot of the times I will just deep breathe and try to cultivate a lot of peace within myself, because like, screaming sometimes when I'm anxious just makes me more anxious, because it's just creating more stress. But like, if I'm like so angry, then I have to like let it out. My intention for 2023 is challenging myself in a way that is healthy, because I will not let fear control me, and I know I can do it because I've done it before. I've done like really cool things in my life, and like, it's like I kind of got knocked back to square one, but I know I can do it. Like, I know I can, and I know everyone watching also can too. Like, your body is so freaking powerful. It's like, it's this healing machine that just keeps you alive constantly. It's like doing its best every single day to like fight for your survival and your health. It's amazing, and you have to really thank your body for that. And it's really easy to forget it as well, because a lot of the times with society, you know, it's like body image and dieting and diet culture, and I don't know, like the superficial things, it's really easy to forget like what your body's actually doing for you every single day, like all the time. Just be kind to yourself. And I'll do the best to be kind to myself too. Let's make a pact. We'll be kind to ourselves this year. We're gonna be kind, and we're gonna be patient, and we're gonna be grateful, and we're gonna be supportive for our own health. And also research the nervous system. Like, your nervous system is like everything. It does everything. It controls like so many things in your body. It's like this magical thing that's like this whole network within your entire brain and your body, and like knowing how to regulate it and understanding it is like gonna be so key to like living a healthy life, especially if you've gone through some things that have like knocked your health. Thank you for watching, and thank you for listening to me and my rambles. I hope you have a really good year, and feel free to come back to my channel whenever you want to watch some poetic films, or sometimes I'll upload things like this, which is quite talkative. I will be coming out with like a vegan to meat transition documentary, and also psychedelic documentary as well. So those are going to be quite big things. I'm going to go now. Thank you for being here.